In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for synchronizing Dapper. Now, I've just plugged in my X5. It shows up on my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and select it. It's going to suggest a split. That's fine. I'm actually going to put it somewhere here in the middle. And that's how I'm going to spread my music over the two cards. And so what's interesting is Dapper syncs playlists that begin with the word Dapper, and you'll see there's 0 playlists to sync right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into iTunes, and just to set up a test, I'm going to create a new playlist, and we'll call this Dapper Music. And then what I'll do for Dapper Music is I'll go back to my music library here, and let's just copy this one thing over into my Dapper Music. You'll notice that Dapper's told me that iTunes has changed, so it knows there's something it needs to synchronize, which is great. So I have just one song in there, and if we go back to Dapper itself, you'll see that it's going to copy that stuff over. Dapper checks every so often, so you'll see now it's checked. It sees that there's going to be 73 megs in that particular file that's going to be placed on the second card, and so I'm going to just click go and see how things go. It says it's going to change 73 megs. It's going to delete a couple of things. If I want to see the detail here, I can always click show me. It's going to delete some garbage files and then copy over brain damage and of course the folder associated with that, so the image associated. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to click on go. So it's copying over this file. It'll take a couple of seconds because obviously this is a 73 meg file, so at about 2.5 megs a second it's going to take, I don't know, 30 seconds to copy it over. And I can always check to see that that's happened by having a looking at the second card. There's Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, there's Brain Damage. All right, so it looks like it's doing pretty well. Now, what I want to show you in this particular case is that you can not only create just iTunes playlists that you drag music into, but you can also create smart playlists. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a smart playlist, and I'm going to say, in this particular case, I want to make sure that that the media kind is music. Right? I don't want to copy anything over that's not music. So we'll just call this all, let's change this playlist and call it Dapper All Music. Now what this would do is, since it matches all of the entries that are in this particular library that are music, it's going to select everything here. And in fact, if I look here, let's have a look at my sample rate as an example. I can see that some of these are high res, some of these are 88 kilohertz, some of them are 44.1. So I could actually go to this thing here and edit the smart playlist and say, well, the media kind needs to be music. And let's say that the sample rate is, let's say, greater than 44.1. So this is now going to have just my high res music. So maybe I call this playlist, it's not all Dapper music, it's Dapper High Res Music. And then maybe I can create here another smart playlist. We also want to make sure that the media kind here is music. And we're going to say that in this particular case, the sample rate is 44.1. And we'll call this Dapper, lossless. Now, obviously I need to check for more than just the sample rate here, but now I have two playlists. They both start with the name Dapper. I have one that's high-res music, one that's lossless music. And then I have this one that contains just the one file that I set in there. But if I quit this now and I go back to Dapper, you'll notice that it changed the number of the storage that's going to be on each side, so 121 meg on this side and 1 gig on the other side. You can always slide the slider around, so I can move more of the files to the left, move more of them to the right. If you select a drive, so if I select TF2 again here, it'll actually suggest what will work best. But now I've selected all of my music, I can go ahead and click on go, and now it's going to copy a gig over to that particular side. Tells me what it's going to do from a file perspective. I'm going to hit continue. Now what's interesting here is it's actually doing two things at once. It's copying a file over to the right-hand card and a file over to the left-hand card at the same time. It looks like there's about a minute remaining on the right-hand side, but around about 4 minutes remaining on the left-hand side to copy things over. So that's a good way of moving your music over. You can either create a manual playlist or you can create smart playlists using iTunes, which really helps to do some very interesting things. Examples of that, you can use things like these recently added and these recently played lists, your top 25 most played, and to get them into the DAP, simply put Dapper in front of them. And now I'll get the top 25 most played playlist sitting on Dapper as well. So really easy way to customize what you want to have put on Dapper. Great way to customize your music there.